Hi friends, welcome back to the fall garden. It's been a while, I will admit. September went way faster than I could have expected. And along with that, I turned 30. So I've been doing a lot of self-reflection about the past decade of my life in my 20s and doing a lot of reflection looking forward for the next 10 years and what I want for myself. I have missed you guys a lot. I will admit, being on YouTube can be pretty intimidating. There are a lot of people who have been in the game longer, a lot of people who are doing some really amazing, great, and inspiring things. Putting myself up against that creates a lot of internal thoughts that I'm not good enough, that I am not where I want to be yet, that I should be doing better, and critiquing myself so harshly that I start to make a video, maybe even film the entire video, and I get down to editing and I just trash it. And that's just me being fully transparent with you about my journey. I love the garden dearly. I want to tell people about it. I like sharing a little piece of my artwork and all the hard work that I put into it. But at the end of the day, those thoughts that we all have about ourselves and our work and our worth, especially when it comes to creating something, we can just be really hard on ourselves. So here I am. I took some time to rest, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and I'm back and I feel better, and I'm no longer going to be my biggest critique and harsh critic. I am just going to do what I want to do and not judge it up against someone else and share with you my garden, genuinely, imperfectly, being Alexis. If you were new here, hello, welcome. Welcome to my garden zone here in 5B. I am in the suburbs a little bit outside of Chicago, about 45 minutes to an hour drive. So that'll give you an idea of the climate that I am in, that I'm growing in. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much. Your guys' support means the most to me. And honestly, it keeps me coming back. So the fall garden has been a bigger challenge than I expected. Not that I thought it was going to be super easy, but growing in this space is new to me. I moved here this past year. This growing season was the first season that I was attempting to grow anything in this location. And so a lot of things play a factor into that. Specifically, I think the sun. The sun here has been moving behind some trees that are in my backyard, which meant as soon as the summer months stopped, we stopped getting a lot of sun, even though the sun was still out for a decent amount of time during the day. That played a factor into how good my fall crops grew, especially the seeds that I planted. So that's going to be really good for me to know moving forward into next year. And another thing with that I didn't expect was the pest pressure. I don't know if the bugs just found me and they're going to be reoccurring from here on out, but all of spring and all of summer, I barely had any pest pressure. And maybe it's because there was more spiders or ladybugs bouncing it out. I don't know. But it seemed like as soon as I took out the summer crop, bugs came, man, and they attacked my Brussels sprouts. I had a lot of cabbage worms. They ate a lot of my lettuce in the beginning. And I know that when plants are little baby plants are more likely to be attacked and eaten all the way before they're able to mature and protect themselves. I think that's kind of what happened here. But regardless, I still got some good stuff growing. I want to show you. Let's go. So this is the garden today, October 1st, 2022. As you can tell, the tomatoes are wild. I've been hands off the last month. I maybe trimmed up a few things that were blocking out sun for the lettuce below, but woo! Oh God, I couldn't have planned this better myself. Honestly, the tomatoes grew themselves, but they did what they want. If we look here in the tomato tunnel, I've gotten tons more that are still about to ripen, and I've gotten 1,000 that I have yet to pick. I've been really bad at getting out here and picking them. I got a little bit sick of tomatoes, but that's okay. Honestly, I just let them keep going because they're beautiful and they deserve to grow and die and not be eaten. Maybe, I don't know. Let's go on the other side and check out the tomato wall. So if you were new here, I have 4 tomatoes, just 4 tomato plants in this garden on the other side. And 2 of them are cherry tomatoes and 2 of them are Cherokee purple tomatoes, so the bigger slicer tomatoes. Only tomatoes that made it over this fence are the 2 cherry. Specifically, honestly, now that I'm looking at it, from what I can tell, the only tomato plant that made it over the fence was the sun sugar variety. So I only have 1 sun sugar plant, which is in between on the end over here. So 1 plant on the other side over there that is a sun sugar orange tomato. This all is from that 1 plant. And you come over here, so is this. What the heck? I mean, this looks like it could be all 4 plants coming over the edge, but it's just 1. 1 plant came over and attacked this whole side. If you're a new gardener and you want to grow a tomato and get tons of tomatoes from 1 little spot in your yard, do the sun sugar. This one specifically, you could grow from seed. I didn't. I got it at Home Depot, a little plant start in the spring. But now I could grow tomatoes from the rest of my life from the seeds that come from these. I could share with everybody. If you live around here, you want some little cherry tomatoes, let me know. Please, please. Isn't that just crazy? And these, like I said, these guys, I've been hands off the last month. I haven't pruned in maybe 2 months. I've kind of just let them do their thing. I did prune end of August to hopefully keep more tomatoes from growing and just allow the tomatoes that I had here to ripen. That didn't work. The tomato was like, honey, we're not done yet. And they just kept going. Like, this is all new growth. I mean, new flowers here. Beautiful. Don't know how they're growing. It's getting cold out right now. I don't know. They just want to keep going. I've gotten more that are shooting up above. I cut them off. I'm telling you, I cut them off so they could stop growing. They didn't care. They sent out more. This whole bush coming in right here, brand new. At this point, I'm not fighting it. I'm letting it do its thing, and it's still growing. Wow. For the last week, we've been in the 60s for the highs of the day. It was overnight. It was like 80-degree day. Next day was like 40 degrees at night, 60 the high. That was it. So these have been in like a mild refrigerator outside the last couple days. I'm not really sure how they're tasting at this moment. They're normally really, really good in the heat of the sun. But I'm gonna give this a little try for you, see what we're working with. Hopefully there's no bugs in there. Actually, it's still amazing. If not, it's like a little bit sweeter. So maybe there's a trick to letting your tomatoes grow into October and letting them get a little chilly. I'm not really sure. There's a bee here that seems to want my camera. Maybe I can get him to... No, he flew away. I was gonna say, maybe I could get him to get on a tomato. They're good. They're still good. Okay, so maybe I spoke a little too soon. It seems like 1 Cherokee purple got itself over this fence. That is definitely a baby slicer tomato in there. I don't think that'll ripen in time before our first frost, but I'm leaving it. I'm letting everything go. All right, so heading back in. So now that we've talked about this monstrosity of tomatoes, let's move on to some of our other things. I think the last time that you guys were with me, I had a sugar baby watermelon climbing up this trellis. I did plant an awful lot of sugar snap peas here, a lot of them, and they kept getting eaten up by squirrels or something. They would just pluck the seed right out and eat it. So nothing came up on that side. So I did get some sugar snap peas to come up here. But like I said, the sun just hasn't been here enough, I think, for them to really really thrive. You can tell it's a little leggy. There's a lot of space between each leaf, and it's kind of reaching to the sun. So am I disappointed? A little bit. I was really hoping for a really cool fall garden, but now I know for the future maybe keeping summer things in longer is better because my fall won't really produce that much more. I don't know. It's always worth trying again. I got some little guys in there too, but they're not getting any sun. So, and I don't see even one flower here. It's a set of new leaves, but no flowers, so we may not get any peas out of this yet. A poblano pepper plant, on the other hand, has become a tree. It was really leggy through the summer months because it wasn't getting enough sun with the watermelon and cucumber over here. So it took a long time to produce anything, but now I have some peppers and some flowers still coming. I don't think those will last because it's been getting so cold. Peppers like it hot. But, you know, 4 peppers, it's not too bad. And they're so black. I love it. Dark green. Fun fact, did you know that in some warmer climates, pepper plants are actually perennial? They grow every year, they go dormant in the cooler months, and then they start growing even more when it gets warmer again, like a tree. And they actually become a pepper tree. Yeah. So this year was my first glimpse into what a pepper tree could actually look like. Eventually, the plant will become woody, starting at the bottom, and then growing up, it'll get harder and harder and harder until it becomes like a tree stalk. And then that plant will stay, die back, you cut it off, and then it keeps growing back every year. Here in Garden Zone 5B, where I live, it gets way too cold for that. It's gonna die no matter what. So I am gonna pull it out eventually. But it's a cool fact. It's really cool. And then in the shade of the pepper plant is my sad little Brussels sprout. Look at this. And that's where it's supposed to be growing from. It's very sad. It's not getting enough sunlight by far, and it's been eaten to death by the cabbage worms that I talked to you about earlier. I haven't seen any for a while though. I thought, and this is my other one, I thought for a while, and this one's doing a little bit better, as you can tell, because it actually has some sunlight. I was looking in here today, and if you look really closely, you can see poo. That is cabbage worm poo. Which means there is still one around here. Oh, I see him. Do you see him? I wonder if you saw them at the same time. Look at that. This one's a big guy. So what you got to do, if you're an organic gardener like me, pull this sucker off. Where are you? Here we go. And you just got to crush them. Crush them between your hands. Sorry, dude. Ugh. There we go. We're good. Put them in a cup of soap. Soapy water. And maybe that is the only one leaving poops on here. That was a big one. Obviously, the more you let them go and then you don't catch them, the bigger they get and the more they destroy. I think I got him. I think that's him. Okay. I have been playing the game of where is the cabbage worm for almost since I put them in here. It's like as soon as I put these Brussels sprouts in here, the bugs were attracted. And because of that, it's not gonna, I don't think it's gonna grow to maturity. I don't think it's gonna produce little Brussels sprouts in its armpits. I just don't see it happening. But I'm just gonna let the plant grow anyway. I feel like somewhere along the way, I kind of just decided that I'm not gonna use pesticides. I'm not gonna do anything that's gonna harm the ecosystem of my garden or my soil or the good beneficial bugs that come in here. So I kind of just left it to my own devices of me picking them off and hoping that was enough. I'm starting to think that even if I picked off all of them, it wouldn't be enough. There's not enough sun. These things probably wouldn't have gotten to maturity anyway. So I kind of just came to the conclusion that I am Snow White. I'm feeding the squirrels with my seeds, and I'm feeding all the little insects with my plants, and this is now a animal insect buffet. Aside from that, my lettuce has been going pretty good. Here is my glorious bed of lettuce. Looks like a hot mess. Yeah, that's cool. But I think, yeah, this is, I want to say romaine. Getting really big and beautiful. Here is the biggest radish I have ever grown. And when I say biggest, I mean biggest foliage of radish, because when I come down here, I don't even see a radish. There's nothing in the soil. So that could be because it was too warm when I planted them, so the leaves grew and the little root didn't, because when you eat a radish, you're eating the root. I'm gonna leave it in longer. Worst case scenario, I've got some radish leaves I could eat. It is what it is. And here in this little shady nook of my garden where I planted all my carrots, I maybe have a few that are growing, but you can tell they're just not getting enough sun. It's just not happening. So I might have a puny carrot in there. I might just be growing foliage for looks. Just going with the flow these days. My summertime basil, on the other hand, has gotten even bigger since I took out the cucumbers. It's living its best life. It smells so good. I'm probably gonna come in here and harvest off all of this to let it hang dry before the frost, like the first frost comes, so that at least I can use that in the winter. Rosemary, I'm gonna try to overwinter here. It's kind of like a perennial if it doesn't get too cold this winter, so we'll see if it comes back or holds tight through the winter. Strawberries, it's time to say goodnight. I'm gonna come in here, cut them off as close as I can to the base of the soil. They call it the crown of the strawberry, and then I'm gonna put it in like my cold garage where it's dark, overwinter them there, and see if they come back next year. Same with these. You can just tell they're tired. They're over it. Blueberry plant really took its time this year. I had some issues with the soil quality in the beginning of the season, and now it's finally putting off some really long shoots and trying to grow. I'm hoping that it's going to be able to go dormant in time for the winter, and we'll see what it looks like next year. Maybe we'll finally get some blueberries, raspberry bush. Everything that has produced berries this year is dying off, as you can tell. And then all of the new shoots, which I think will be next year's raspberries, have started to grow. I'm not really sure if that's how it works, but I can tell there's new healthy growth and some old dead growth. And I've already trimmed off some dead growth on the other side. So I'm hoping that this plant is prepping itself for winter. I think it's been getting cold enough it knows. We'll see. Gotta say, bushel and berry, I'm very pleased with these plants. They're made to be in pots. They've got really cool varieties. If you're interested in a blueberry, raspberry, blackberry, I'm sure they have more of those too, different types of berries that you can grow in a pot in your yard. Look them up. It's a really great brand. They gave you fruits your first year, totally worth it, and they're supposed to be hardy. So I will see you this winter and get back to you in the spring if that rings true. And last but not least, the lettuce. Some of it's looking super great, and some of it is looking like it's had better days. Obviously, the cabbage worms, they're killing everything. But most of these plants have gotten big enough that they're not bothering them anymore. I can tell by feeling this. It's either cold damaged or it really needs water. So I need to get in here and give this a fresh little spritz. But some of this lettuce is doing really, really great. Like huge, gorgeous leaves. And some of it I probably put too close together, but that was okay. I wanted to do that. This one is supposed to look like this. It's either sick, didn't get enough sun, or the cabbage worms just really decimated it enough that it just gave up life. I don't know. I'm not pulling it out. One thing I did find in here, you can barely tell. This is a carrot. Amongst the lettuce, a little carrot. You could tell it's got a little different type of leaf. Yeah, they've got some stringy down here. You could tell this is it. Hi, guy. I appreciate its effort. I really do. That's it. Yeah. So that's cool. I don't know. There's always some fun garden surprises. And speaking of garden surprises, we have a little bit of new life. Can you guess what these are? Little babies growing. This is a cherry tomato that decomposed here in the soil, completely disappeared, and sprouted its seeds. New tomato plants growing themselves. And you could tell there's a lot of seeds here that germinated all together. Man, life always finds a way. How cool is that? One little cherry tomato broke open, planted some seeds, and is growing happy and healthy in this little shaded area. I'm not gonna pull them out. They're not gonna live, but I just think it's so adorable. How fun is that? And that concludes the October 1st, 2022 Fall Garden Tour. If you made it this far, thank you so much. Please give me some feedback. Let me know what you liked, if you learned something new, if there's something that maybe inspired you to try something next year. I love to talk to fellow gardeners and enjoy our passion together. Please take the time to like, comment, subscribe. Just let me know what you think. The algorithm on YouTube is crazy for new beginners like me, and without you, I will never be seen. And if not, that's cool, that's okay. Those of you who do watch every time I make a new video, I appreciate you so much. At the end of the day, I do this because I love it, and if even one person saw it, that's enough for me. I love you all, and I look forward to spending time with you guys again soon.